Lee Summit is your destination for big city vibes and small town charm.
Head to the downtown Lee Summit Farmers Market, where local meets fresh. Then grab a cup of coffee and discover a variety of shops and boutiques just around the corner. Continue the fun in downtown Lee Summit at a retro arcade bar. Discover your new beer at one of our 6 locally owned breweries. Cool off with some handcrafted cocktails at happy hour. End the night with live music and good company. Lee Summit, Missouri.
Hello, Lee Summit. Here's your flash briefing for the week of July 15th. City Council meets for regular session Tuesday night at 6 in Council Chambers in City Hall. Meetings are open to the public or watch live on the city's YouTube channel. If you can't watch, catch the recorded meeting on demand on the YouTube channel or by subscribing to the Council Debrief newsletter, which breaks down 3 to 4 key agenda items. Subscribe at cityofls.net. Batter up. Join the city and the Community Blood Center for a blood drive today, July 15th, at the city's maintenance facility from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. All participating donors will receive a Royals t-shirt while supplies last. The time to donate is now. Register on the city's website. Walk-ins are welcome. The Lee Summit Fire Department is hiring firefighters and firefighter paramedics. Attend their employment open house at Fire Station Number 4 on July 20th. Learn more about the open positions, receive a tour, and fill out an application on the spot. Learn more at lsfdjobs.net. Attention all trail enthusiasts. The city is applying for a grant from the Mid-American Regional Council, MARC, to identify connections between the Rock Island Trail and access points in Lee Summit's downtown core. This will be a significant step in enhancing our greenway and trail network. This is a competitive grant with other Kansas City metro communities, and MARC is seeking public comments. Your comments will positively affect our rankings. Provide feedback at cityofls.net. Jamaican Jam is back. Enjoy the sounds of reggae and Caribbean charm July 19th at the Legacy Park Amphitheater. This event is free. Gates open at 6 p.m. and the show starts at 7 p.m. And this Saturday, July 20th, attend the sidewalk sale in downtown Lee Summit. Shop quality items at unbeatable prices. Get all the details at downtownls.org. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
Traditionally, we think as police officers, those responding to law enforcement needs within the community. But honestly, we are there to serve our citizens, and our citizens do go into crisis. They do have mental health crises, and we're being called to those scenes on a regular basis. In order to help serve those citizens better, we did initiate the Crisis Intervention Team Program. These are officers that are specially trained to de-escalate crisis situations. Recently, we've brought co-responders onto the scene, licensed qualified mental health professionals housed within our police department, and they respond with those officers directly to those scenes where a crisis is occurring so they can interact with that citizen and get them the help they need right there on that scene.
The co-responders are either a bachelor or master level in a behavioral health related field. They wear plain clothes, they don't carry weapons or anything like that.
I have a police radio that I listen to all day. Listen for, those key words: mental health, behavioral health, crisis.
There's a lot of officers that just call for me. I have my own radio number.
I also have the ability to self-dispatch to them and say 982 is en route.
Officers en route, 914, Armstrong.
So typically I arrive after they've made it safe. I'll make contact and get kind of the rundown, and then I just kind of jump right in.
Like, hey, my name's Allison. I'm a mental health professional. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to take you to jail or arrest you.
Sometimes all a person needs is a voice, someone neutral, someone outside that, can listen. I do a lot of safety planning, including family, their support network, who's close to you. If they're home alone, who can come over and hang out with you today? Can we lock away your sharps? Can we put up your meds? Do you need meds? Can we get you over to the urgent care to get you assessed for your medications? Some of them also are like, oh, I'm so glad you came. This made me feel so much better.
Our main goal as co-responders is to, one, get people connected to the services that they need, and also divert from emergency rooms and jails.
And they almost get a different view of the police responding. That lets me know you care and the officers care.
Please, how can we help you?
My husband has...
In 2020, we had 722 mental health related calls for service. 2022, by that time, 1,479. These mental health related calls for service are increasing. How we're responding to that is increasing the number of crisis intervention team officers we have available, as well as the number of co-responders we have available to respond on these calls.
So what I think is important for the community to know about the co-responder program is that we're here, we exist. All you have to do when you call 911 is ask for us. You know, say, hey, I want a co-responder to respond to this crisis, and we'll go. I was really struggling about 8 years ago on my personal journey with mental health, and I met some amazing social workers and amazing programs that have helped me get to where I am today. I really couldn't see myself doing anything else. We want to help, and that's what we love to do.
So I had a client, we got a call, she had some suicidal ideations, and she really felt that she had nobody. And and getting to know her story and getting to know who comes around and sees you, well then we found a support person and they responded immediately. And we made a plan. I called back and checked on her in an hour, and then I checked on her in 2 hours. We were able to get her into the additional services to where she talks to someone every week or more. I just took a person that really just thought they had nobody and nobody would show up for them, and show them you do. And you'll be amazed who is in your corner if you just simply say, I need a little help.
Member Lovell. Thank you, Mayor. Great presentation, Ryan. Thank you. Is there any indicator that shows, are we supporting a need with...
They talk about like gym rats, kids that grew up with their dads that were coaches. Like I was a city hall rat. My dad, Tom Lovell, was hired as the Parks Administrator in 1978 and spent 40 years in public service here in Lee Summit. I would go up on the weekends when he was working, and I'd run around and play and do things, and I didn't know what he was doing at the time, but I just knew that was part of our weekend routine some days, was to go up and hang out at City Hall. Being part of a city from a young age to now in my adult life, you reap so many benefits from that. The people you know, you care more for something that you've been a part of. My wife and I knew we wanted to raise a family. Just trying to find a community that we thought we could raise our children in, that was good to me. And it just felt like the right move as we were deciding on a city to come back to. Fortunate to have started a business in 2018. I founded Level Insurance Group, and we are a business insurance brokerage. So we help businesses procure insurance. Decided to throw our flag in the ground here in Lee Summit, and it's grown. I also have this passion for learning and curiosity, and I started a podcast series. So I really enjoy this opportunity where I sit down with business owners and tell their story, and get this out to other people in hopes that maybe it betters their life and gives them some inspiration or something. It's going to be a really exciting time, and obviously this city's in my blood. My dad's been a part of it for a long time, so I'm really excited. Thank you all. A lot of people would say I was crazy, right? So why do you throw your hand up and subject yourself to going into city politics? I think, especially as I've gotten older, I just felt, maybe a civic duty, like a responsibility to say, hey, this city's been great to me. Here's a way that I can give back and take some of my skills and put them to work for the people of this city. I wanted to bring a different, maybe way of thinking and take some of my business acumen and see areas that it may apply to how we develop and grow this community, and just give a different perspective. One of our biggest challenges, but also one of our biggest opportunities, is how do we develop and grow this community? We don't want to grow too fast, but we want to grow at a pace that helps support, who and what we are as a community. So, we've got a lot of opportunities, whether that be through development or parks. We've got a lot of land coming on board. So I just think it's important, it's a challenge, but it's also our greatest opportunity. And so we just got to be smart how we do that. It's just asking some different questions. I'm one that, I'm not contrarian for contrarian's sake. What I am is someone will tell me something, and then I want to get to that position with them by just asking thoughtful questions along the way. And then if I can get there, then I feel like we've answered everything we can to move that forward, versus, hey, here's kind of how we've done it. I'm never this is how we do it, this is how we've always done it, and this is how we'll continue to do it. Office of Council Member for District 2. All of my practical experience has put me in this position to serve, and I just raised my hand and said I want to do that. For which I was elected on April 5th, 2022. I feel this obligation to carry this legacy that my dad did, my family did, and then giving my kids an environment to grow up in that makes them want to come back. My kids have started rec sports through the Parks and Recreation system, and I'm watching them play soccer on this sport field that my dad helped develop. And my dad's sitting there with me, right? I mean, that's the stuff that really matters in life.
right. We're having some computer issues, but so we're doing a slow start here, but let's go ahead and get started with invocation. If you would please rise for the invocation and stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance and blessing this evening. We come tonight as a council in support of our community. We pray that you give us wisdom and courage to help guide and prepare us and the community for success. Let Spirit fill our hearts, and we may not disappoint those who look for leadership and direction in their concerns. Let us press toward the goal, being only concerned with what is best for our community. Amen.
Hey, welcome everyone. I'm calling to order the City of Lee Summit regular session number 9. Could I get a roll call, please?
Shields.
Councilmember Shields. She asked if you're here.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Lovell.
Can you speak up, Council?
I thought you said Hodges.
Here.
Councilmember Carlisle.
Present.
Councilmember Rader.
Present.
Councilmember Pryor.
Here.
Councilmember DeMauro.
Here.
Councilmember Hodges.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Here.
Mayor Baird.
Here. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I have a motion to adopt the agenda by Councilmember DeMauro, seconded by Councilmember Shields. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. If you need to do an aye vote, please say your name and your vote.
Aye. John Lovell.
Aye.
Aye. Lopez.
All right, all votes are in. Please record the vote. It is unanimous to adopt the agenda. Next is the approval of the consent agenda. I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda by Councilmember Shields, seconded by Councilmember DeMauro. Discussion?
Aye.
Seeing none, please cast your vote. Councilmember Lovell is an aye.
Aye.
Lopez is an aye. And missing one vote. There we go. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It's unanimous. Thank you. And we go to Council Roundtable. These are items of general interest, things going on in the community, in your district. Yes, Councilmember DeMauro.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to make note of the email that we received from the manager that was passed on to him by Chief Snyder about the article about the Lee Summit Fire Department in the Missouri EMS connection. It's a very good article. I would urge all to read it if you get a chance. There's a lot of good information. I mean, we know we have a great fire department, but it's nice to see it in print. It's a very good article. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hodges.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, I was at church on Sunday, and I had somebody come up to me and say that they wanted to give a huge shout out and thank you to Public Works because they were out of town and a tree went down and they had to contact them, and that was at night, and then by 7:30 in the morning they had taken care of it. So they go, we know that you probably hear a lot of the negative, but we wanted to say thank you because we appreciate the hard work that they did. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Councilmember Pryor.
So mine's not nearly exciting, but I feel like I need to point out to Dom that I'm drinking out of a water bottle, the faucet water, not bottled water. So, because we have award-winning faucet water. Thanks. I mean tap water.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Shields.
I just wanted to say downtown Main Street is having their annual meeting tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock at the Stanley. So hopefully see some of y'all there.
Thank you. Well, we've been talking about water in our comments, and our first order of business tonight is a presentation about the American Public Works Association, APWA, on water utilities accreditation. Did I skip public comments? Oh, did I? No, I'm sorry, Mr. Bennett. I skipped public comments. I got to get to my public commenters first. Thank you, Councilmember Shields. We do have a public comment. Yes. 1 second. Rachel Benson, would you please come forward? Yep.
Before I begin, I do want to thank Ms. Rader for speaking to me on the phone about a week ago and making me feel so welcome that I could come tonight and deliver these public comments. Dear Council, I respectfully call your attention to an issue that has been ongoing in my neighborhood, Remington Woods, off Chipman Road. Since it was built in the early 90s, homeowners have been plagued by continual flooding of Shady Bend Lane. When we experience torrential downpours, the storm drains become overwhelmed, unable to move the water quickly enough, resulting in a complete flood of the drains on our street, barricading people into their homes, damaging vehicles parked in the road, and flooding our basements. The last major rain was on July 1st, 2024, and I measured almost 2 feet of water in the street. This water has no other place to go other than through my side yard, down my backyard, and ultimately entering the windows and doors of my home and neighbors' homes. I have some other pictures here. Once the street floods and the storm drains are completely overrun with water, it comes down my side yard. It goes into my backyard. There is a kind of river that splits into two. Down here in the bottom left, it goes back towards my house, entering the door of my walkout basement. You can see the patio there is flooding. It comes in that door. Eventually, the entire backyard is flooded. The city of Lee Summit has continually claimed to me and my neighbors that the storm drain in front of my house was clogged, and while it may have been at one point, this is no longer the case. I know that for a fact because the last time the street flooded, I took photographs of the exit point of the drain, and it was flowing at capacity. This was minutes before the exit point was completely underwater. There is an electrical box right there, which was also flooded with water. Right here. As it stands now, the storm drains are 13 inches in diameter, and that small of a pipe simply cannot handle the amount and speed of rainwater. The city promises to send an engineer to assess the infrastructure, but I fear that they will find an excuse to say that the pipes are fine and that they're simply clogged. Again, they are not clogged. 13-inch diameter storm drains cannot handle the heaviest of rains for the entirety of a neighborhood, which flows just straight to my house. I bring with me letters from 5 neighbors confirming that these floods have been happening since the neighborhood was built in the early 90s. Finally, please understand that partnering with the city is the only option that I, my husband, and my neighbors have. I do not own the drains, and I cannot hire out the work to upgrade them myself. I also cannot in good faith sell the home without disclosing this major issue, without deceiving someone, as my husband and I were 3.5 years ago. My request is simple. Please encourage the Lee Summit Works Department to upgrade the stormwater drainage system in Remington Woods, specifically Shady Bend Lane, namely by widening the pipes to a diameter that can handle the amount of rainwater we receive. Doing so will preserve the ongoing safety of my home and also my neighbors' homes who are also victims of the flooding. I wish to extend my sincerest gratitude to each council person as well as the mayor. Thank you for your attention, time, and support.
Wow, that was pretty impressive. It's Rachel. Can I just have you state your name? You don't
Sure,
need to
I'm
do your
sorry. My
address.
name is Rachel Benson. I am happy to answer any questions.
Very
I'm
good.
a teacher also here in the town.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Presentations. We'll talk to staff, and we'll definitely make sure that engineer is seeing it with objective lens. Bet. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Okay, Mr. Bennett, sorry. I just needed to stay on the agenda. So we talked about water, but without you, but that wasn't a fun conversation.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Don Bennett, Assistant Director of Customer Care and Water Utilities. It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening and kind of a celebratory moment for the department. Some of you may recall a couple of years ago in the budget process, we had put forth an expansion item of a goal that was identified through our strategic planning process for the department to become accredited along with that. And we've been working on that off and on for a few years now, but really and when we decided to dedicate resources to it and have your support when we put it through that budget process the year before last, really for about a year and a half now, I've really put full blaze going forward with that. So we're here this evening because we've accomplished what we set out to do and grew a lot in the process, all in efforts to deliver better services to the community and what we do as a department. So with that, we actually have some guests from our staff that are here with us this evening. Plus, we have the APWA Regional Director, Joe Johnson, who is going to share some words as well. So.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. It's an honor to be here tonight to help your Water Utilities Department celebrate accreditation through APWA. Again, my name is Joe Johnson. I'm Region 6 Director. I sit on the National Board for APWA. I was a longtime resident here in Lee Summit. I lived here in Lee Summit for about 30-some years, and recently we moved, raised 5 children, and sent them to school. So, Lee Summit's been home to me for most of my life. So it's an honor to be here to help celebrate this accreditation. So really just a couple quick remarks. So accreditation is a mark of professionalism indicating public works agencies have made the commitment to continuous improvements in the delivery of public works operations and services in the community it serves. Accreditation recognizes an agency's policies, procedures, and practices which have been evaluated against nationally recognized management practices to determine to be appropriate specific to the agency. For your water department, staff went through and either reviewed or developed 236 policies, procedures, or practices as part of their daily operations that were reviewed by a team of experts for compliance for accreditation. I'm proud to report that the department achieved 100% full compliance with the review, which is unique in itself. Most of the time, agencies are approved for accreditation. In this case, every one of your policies and procedures met 100%, which doesn't happen. It happens in maybe 1% of the cities that are reviewed. In addition to that, they generally identify different types of practice models. And what they do with these models is they provide these and make them available to other cities that are going through this process. Generally, you have 2 or 3. The city of Lee Summit had over 11 model practices that were noted by the agency. And a lot of times when they note these, they just, you did this, you did this, do this. In this review, the reviewing team actually made specific comments to the model practices, which is something that's generally not done. And I just want to highlight a couple of those just because it's a lot of work in doing this. So under organization strategic planning, so relationship of the agency strategic plan to government, wide planning process. The relationship of the water utility strategic plan to the city strategic plan is very well laid out. Under human resource management orientation process, new hire orientation is very thorough. In addition to the first day on the job orientation, the agency has developed an extensive orientation process that gives employees a deeper understanding of the city's process, functions, and culture. And under human resource management, continued customer service training. The agency invests substantial time and effort in excellent customer service for all staff. The slide deck for this practice is excellent. And finally, drinking water distribution system, public education program. The marketing plan is incredibly well written and comprehensive. A new hire could read it and successfully put out communications the next day. So you should be very proud of your agency and the folks that work there. They've done a marvelous job in meeting the accreditation, but putting together the 236 policies, procedures, and practice is probably a 2 or 3 year process. And the dedication that went into that under Mark and Dom helping lead that effort is amazing. I know there's some more comments behind me, but I'm just proud to be here tonight to help the celebration for your utility department and then meeting the accreditation, being accredited by APWA. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Most of the team. Mr. Johnson, thank you for all that you do. Thank you to APWA for all they do to make, this program possible. It's a program that APWA has invested a great deal of time and effort into being able to develop a program where agencies can actually go through model practices and provide an evaluation and an assessment of practically everything you do as an organization. And then to have a team of evaluators come in outside. We had one gentleman from Georgia, Public Works Director in Georgia, and then another a lady from Lawrence, Kansas, come in, and they really kind of put you under the microscope and you go through those processes, but it's an opportunity to learn and grow. And one that was very beneficial for us. And it probably more than anything, it underscored the power of teamwork to be able to work through that and get it done. And so with that, I'd like to introduce the team that was made this all happen. Each of these folks were chapter leaders. They took, there's a variety of different chapters in this program, and they each took one or more chapters and embraced it, worked through it, and got it to the point to where we were able to be evaluated and succeed in our goal to get accredited. And to be honest with you, I mean, it was a goal of the strategic plan, as Don mentioned, but it was also a goal that was brought forward through our Water Utility Advisory Board, and it was a goal of staff to make this happen. And I just couldn't be more proud of the folks we've got here this evening. So, if you would, Don,
Mr. Dunning, can you get him a microphone?
And I don't know if it'd be better.
Mr. Dunning's going to give him a microphone there.
Don Bennett, and I had chapters 1 and 2, which was organizations, mission, vision, values, and human resources management. Then also I wanted to mention Sarah Miller, our community relations specialist. She was the chapter leader for chapter 6, which was communications. She couldn't be here this evening as well.
Hi, Joe San Nicolas, IT and telecommunications.
Hi, I'm Matt Laposha. I did risk management and legal.
Jeff Thorne, I did long-term planning and asset management.
Jeremy Young, I did safety.
Hi, Amanda Bagwell. I did wastewater collection and conveyance systems.
Brent Dye, I did emergency management and fleet and equipment maintenance.
Michael Riley, I did occupied facilities as well as water and wastewater system and building maintenance.
Hello, I'm Monica Hawkins, and I acted as the project manager, just making sure everyone was on task, uploading policies and procedures.
Brent Boyce, I did finance department.
Kevin York, I worked on project management.
Thank you to each and every one of you. You are what made it possible to get to the finish line. I will state that Monica kind of underestimated her part in this project. She would walk during the middle of this project. She would walk down the hall, and other people would turn and walk the other way. But she got us organized, and with that. Extra special kudos to Monica. So.
Very good. Mr. Dunning, you want to say anything?
Generally speaking, I've played really no part in this. Mark and that team has been on a mission for, as referenced, a couple years to get to this point, and I know how much work they put into it. I know how much Mark stressed over the process, but if you know Mark, you know how well he plans and he gets his team in shape to be prepared for this, and I think it's reflective in Mr. Johnson's remarks on the report from the process. So kudos to the whole team for going through this, and I would just say proud to lead an organization with now 5 accredited agencies between Public Works, Water Utilities, Parks, Fire, and Police. That's pretty impressive.
Incredible. Like hanging another banner up in the.
Has an actual plaque, if we could get a photo.
What's this? What are you doing? I'm sorry.
Take a photo up here?
Yeah, please. Oh, sure, yeah.
This is fancy.
Oh, wait. Exactly.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, very nice. That was our presentation this evening. We've got some other business to attend to, such as proposed ordinances forwarded from committee. Councilmember DeMoro, would you start us off with bill number 24-123?
Thank you, Mayor. I move for the advancement of second reading, bill number 24-123, an ordinance approving change order number 3 to the guaranteed maximum price agreement for the fire stations 4 and 5 project between the city of Lee Summit, Missouri and McCown Gordon Construction to increase the project timeline by 40 days and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading. Bill number 24-123 by Councilmember DeMoro, seconded by Councilmember Shields. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It does move forward to second reading unanimously. Councilmember DeMoro, would you please?
Move for adoption, bill number 24-123, an ordinance approving change order number 3 to the guaranteed maximum price agreement for the fire stations 4 and 5 project between the city of Lee Summit, Missouri and McCown Gordon Construction to increase the project timeline by 40 days and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt bill number 24-123 by Councilmember DeMoro, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It is adopted. Thank you. Councilmember Rader, would you please read bill number 24-124?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to advance to second reading bill number 24-124, an ordinance approving change order number 6 to the agreement for the Chipman Road Improvements from View High Drive to Bentry Drive, project number 73, between the city of Lee Summit, Missouri and Emery Sapp Sons, Inc., to increase the project timeline by 155 days and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, bill number 24-124 by Councilmember Rader, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It's unanimous. Councilmember Rader, would you please?
Thank you. I move to adopt Bill number 24124, an ordinance approving change order number 6 to the agreement for the Chipman Road Improvements from View High Drive to Bent Tree Drive project, project number 73, between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and Emery Sapp Sons, Inc., to increase the project timeline by 155 days and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt Bill number 24-124 by Councilmember Rader, seconded by Councilmember Carlisle. Discussion? Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. That bill is adopted unanimously. Thank you. Councilmember Pryor, would you please read Bill number 24-125?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to advance to a second reading, Bill number 24-125, an ordinance approving a utility agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and Evergy Missouri West, Inc. for facility relocation in the amount of $292,602.34 pursuant to the Pryor Road Improvements from Hook Road to Longview Road Project, and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. I have a motion to move to second reading, Bill number 24-125 by Councilmember Pryor, seconded by Councilmember Shields. Discussion? Yes, Councilmember Carlisle.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a question on the relocation of these facilities. Anybody?
Mr. Binger looks like he's coming forward.
Yep. So I got the question asking if these are going to be kept above ground or put below ground for this project?
Oh, yes. George Binger, City Engineer, Public Works Department. On the relocation project, these are going to be above-ground facilities when they're done.
Okay, and can we ask them or make them put them underground?
If the city requires it to go underground, then the city would pay any additional cost for underground in the utility. Basically, we would pay the difference between the relocation above ground and underground. And generally, underground is much more expensive. I think we had it on Chipman Road. Evergy did an improvement there, and it came out to be close to, I think, $6 million per mile to underground utilities.
For them to put them underground?
Yes, especially for the high voltage transmission lines.
So we have to pay for it anyway, whether they move them and keep them above ground or move them and put them below ground, but it's cheaper for them to leave them above ground.
In this particular case, the city's paying because it's the utility line is currently within an easement owned by Evergy. If it was in right-of-way or a city-owned easement, then the utility would be paying for that.
Okay.
So this is just a portion of the relocation on the Pryor Road project. There's other portions of relocation that Evergy is bearing the sole cost of it at.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Yes, Councilmember Pryor.
So the cities that do put them underground, is it at the cost? Is it all at the cost of the city, or do some cities find a way to How do other cities do that?
Generally, when utilities go underground, it is at the discretion of the utility that owns that utility. Now, in some cases, like when we get into neighborhoods where you're talking about the smaller distribution lines and service lines, it goes under, there may be code requires it go underground, it may be part of the franchise agreement, but those lines are much less expensive than the ones we see along our major arterials. Some of the ways cities approach it too is they have wider right-of-way, so maybe the overhead lines are set further back so they're not as visible, but that requires acquiring additional property in the right-of-way.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion or questions? Thank you. All right, seeing no further discussion, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It does move to second reading unanimously. Councilmember Pryor, would you please? Or I'm sorry, who read that? Yes, Councilmember Pryor.
Yes, thank you. I move for adoption Bill number 24-125, an ordinance approving a utility agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and Evergy Missouri West, Inc. for facility relocation in the amount of $292,602.34 pursuant to the Pryor Road Improvements from Hook Road to Longview Road Project, and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt Bill number 24-125 by Councilmember Pryor, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It's adopted unanimously. Thank you. Councilmember Lovell, would you please read Bill number 24-126?
Thanks, Mayor. I move to advance second reading Bill number 24-126, an ordinance approving an STP-Urban Program Supplemental Agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Pryor Road Widening Phase 1, Hook Road to Longview Road Project, Commission Project Number STBG 3378403, and authorizing the mayor to execute the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading Bill number 24-126 by Councilmember Lovell, seconded by Councilmember Carlisle. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It goes to second reading unanimously. Councilmember Lovell, would you please?
I move for adoption Bill number 24-126, an ordinance approving an STP-Urban Program Supplemental Agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Pryor Road Widening Phase 1, Hook Road to Longview Road Project, Commission Project Number STBG 3378403, and authorizing the mayor to execute the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt Bill number 24-126 by Councilmember Lovell, seconded by Councilmember DeMoro. Discussion? Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. That bill is adopted unanimously. Thank you. Councilmember Shields, would you please read Bill number 24-127?
Thank you, Mayor. I move for second reading of Bill number 24-127, an ordinance awarding bid number 2244082 for a one-year contract with 4 potential renewal periods of 1 year each for street light and traffic signal services to Custom Lighting Services, LLC, DBA Black McDonald, and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. I have a motion to move to second reading Bill number 24-126 by Councilmember Shields, seconded by Councilmember Pryor. Discussion? Bill number 127 is on the floor. Thank you. Yep. And we've got the motion is to adopt is by Councilmember Shields. There we go. And motion to do second reading is by Councilmember Shields, seconded by Councilmember Pryor is what I have. Seeing no discussion, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It goes to second reading unanimously. Councilmember Shields, would you please?
Thank you, Mayor. I now move for adoption of Bill number 24-127, an ordinance awarding bid number 2024-082 for a one-year contract with 4 potential renewal periods of 1 year each for street light and traffic signal services to Custom Lighting Services, LLC, DBA Black McDonald, and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
You have a motion to adopt Bill number 24-127 by Councilmember Shields, seconded by Councilmember Carlisle. Discussion? Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. That bill is adopted unanimously. Thank you. Councilmember Hodges, would you please read Bill number 24-128?
I move to second reading Bill number 24-128, an ordinance approving the award of RFQ number 2024-065 for professional engineering services for the alignment study of Scherer Road Parkway, Scherer Parkway, and Longview Boulevard by and between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and Lochmueller Group, Incorporated, for an amount not to exceed $686,365, and authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading Bill number 24-128 by Councilmember Hodges, seconded by Councilmember DeMoro. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It does move forward to second reading unanimously. Councilmember Hodges, would you please?
I move for the adoption of Bill number 24-128, an ordinance approving the award of RFQ number 2024-065 for professional engineering services for the alignment study of Scherer Road Parkway, Scherer Parkway, and Longview Boulevard by and between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and Lochmueller Group, Incorporated, for an amount not to exceed $686,365, and authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for the same.
We have a motion to move to second, motion to adopt Bill number 24-128 by Councilmember Hodges, seconded by Councilmember Pryor. Discussion? Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. And that bill is adopted. Thank you. And Councilmember Carlisle, would you please read Bill number 24-129?
Thank you, Mayor. I move Bill number 24-129, an ordinance approving a supplemental transportation alternative funds program agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the 3rd Street from Blue Parkway to Jefferson Street Project, Commission Project Number TAP 3378, open paren 402, closed paren, and authorizing the mayor to execute the same. Be second read.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, Bill number 24-129 by Councilmember Carlisle, seconded by Councilmember Rader. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It does move to second reading unanimously. Councilmember Carlisle, would you please?
Thank you, Mayor. I move bill number 24-129, an ordinance approving a supplemental transportation alternative funds program agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the 3rd Street from Blue Parkway to Jefferson Street project. Commission project number TAP 3378, open paren 402, close paren, and authorizing the mayor to execute the same be adopted.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt Bill number 24-129 by Councilmember Carlisle, seconded by Councilmember Rader. Discussion? Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. That bill is adopted unanimously. Thank you. That takes us to committee reports. Councilmember Pryor.
Thank you, Mayor. So I am the new liaison for the youth court, and it was, if people don't know what the youth court is, it is a program where if somebody under the age of 18 commits a crime, they can go before, I guess technically they're their peers, young people that are acting as attorneys and the judge, and it's just a really cool program that's, I guess, anything from stealing to drugs to fights in school, and they get sentenced to community service. And but just hearing these 16-year-olds acting as attorneys, defense attorneys and prosecuting attorneys, it was just way smarter than I was at 16. But it was really cool to be a part of the process. And so yeah, if you haven't heard about it, look into it, because it's a really cool program and they put a lot of work into it. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other committee reports? None? Council comments? Yes, Councilmember Lovell?
Thanks, Mayor. It just got me thinking when we're talking about those power lines, my favorite topic. Is there anything that we could do or maybe take to committee with the amount of land that we have coming up for development? Like I was hearing a few things like right away or things that give us more control or ability to bury power lines, especially with the new construction that we'll see like in the SLR land, both north and south, like things that we can do proactively in our codes or that gives us more flexibility or ability to bury power lines.
Ryan Elam, Assistant City Manager. So when new development comes in for, like Mr. Binger said, a lot of the normal distribution mains and everything, those are already required to be buried. Now it's the transmission mains that are the challenge associated with that. We can definitely look at it. There are existing transmission lines, There are existing transmission lines along that property that are in existing easements. So requiring existing easements or existing lines to be buried will result in a cost to the city, like we've discussed previously, a pretty substantial cost to the city, and it may not be technically feasible. But the rest of the distribution lines and everything are already going to be required to be buried.
Okay. So like thinking of those big lines that kind of run through all the ag land right now, those would be transmission, and those already on an easement with Evergy, is that correct?
That's correct.
What about when we can't bury them? Is there anything, like, are there other options to make it, I don't know. I was just thinking like Streets West Pryor, like more dense areas where we already have a lot of these lines. I get the challenges with doing that and already a lot of development there. But like with Streets of West Pryor, there are tiny little power lines right down the development, and then they also had to move these giant ones. And I believe when that was coming through, the understanding is those little ones would go away, but they never went away. And so I'm just thinking of ways like to make sure when we do that, like, hey, you're already putting in these huge transmission lines, is there a way to remove the smaller, kind of old school ones there too? Again, just trying to think of ways to minimize the power line effect. as development continues in the city. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about there on that instance? I think that was maybe a missed opportunity there to get those somehow, maybe with the other big ones that were already going up, and they still exist there today.
Yeah, I don't know the details on that one, but that's definitely something that we can look at when projects.
I just
are
think
coming
being
through.
cognizant of it as when we see developments come in and we talk about those things like that, we're making sure that, because I remember Councilmember Forte bringing that up, like when that was going through, but anyway.
Again, our challenge is with existing lines. On existing lines, they are the property of the utility company associated with that. And now new lines, we have a lot more control with.
Okay.
With being able to have them, put them underground, and that's already a requirement.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, staff roundtable?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple topics. One of the bills that was read tonight, I want to give kudos to our Public Works Department. It's the one where we had the supplemental agreement for Pryor Road Improvements. What that resulted in is our Public Works Department being on their game and having road projects ready to go so that if other communities who were allocated funding through all the systems coming from the federal government down to Mid-America Regional Council, finding priorities, other municipalities, when they aren't able to utilize that funding gets pulled and then allocated to projects that are ready to go. So kudos to them. That's an additional $10 million that, being prepared, we were the beneficiary of. So it's a great thing to be prepared and have projects in the pipeline and have the criteria for how might these projects score within those systems, already have that mapped out. So I think that's just a great reflection of our Public Works Department being prepared for those opportunities. So wanted to highlight that. And then the fire department's going to be having a hiring open house for firefighters and firefighter paramedics on July 20th between 10 and 4 up at Station 4. So if you know folks that may be interested in a career in the fire service, that'd be a great opportunity for them to visit one of our new stations and learn more about that opportunity. That's what I have tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We need to conduct some more business, but we need to do it in a closed session. Would someone like to read us into closed session?
Mayor,
Councilmember DeMauro?
pursuant to Section 610021 of the revised statutes of the State of Missouri pertaining to legal actions, causes of action, or litigation involving a public governmental body, or any confidential or privileged communication between a public governmental body or its representatives and its attorneys, and pursuant to Section 610021 of the revised statutes of the State of Missouri pertaining to leasing, purchase, or sale of real estate by a public governmental body, where public knowledge of the transaction might adversely affect the legal consideration. Therefore, I move for closed session.
Thank you. We have a motion to go into closed session by Councilmember DeMauro, seconded by Councilmember Carlisle. Discussion? Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember DeMauro?
Aye.
Councilmember Carlisle?
Aye.
Councilmember Pryor?
Aye.
Councilmember Lovell?
Aye.
Councilmember Rader?
Aye.
Councilmember Shields?
Aye.
Councilmember Hodges?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
Aye.
Mayor Baird?
Aye. Thank you all.